Right, and as you mentioned, big senior bowls this weekend, so you're going to need some food to take down to your tailgate party. So we have Marissa Wilkins with the Squash Grape and also Nancy Thompson from HoneyBaked Ham. You guys are going to show us how to make the perfect food that all of our party guests are going to love.
We are. Marissa's making right now a beer bread. It's a very simple 3-ingredient bread, and she carries a lot of craft beers in her store in the Squash Grape. The beer determines what the beer flavor is going to be like in the bread.
Sure. So what have you put in so far, Marissa?
So far I've put in 3 cups of flour and just 3 tablespoons of sugar. Okay. So this is a really easy bread recipe, something you're not really, you're used to bread taking a long time, but this one actually does not take that long.
And what type of beer are we using this morning?
I'm using a organic chocolate stout. It's actually one that I carry in my wine store.
Organic chocolate?
It's organic, yes.
Wow.
So, and it gives it gives the bread just a really big stouty flavor, which is delicious in my opinion. So, and then I'm just going to mix it up. And it gets really thick, and then you just you heat it in the oven for about 45 minutes on 375.
Okay.
And so it's really quick. So
it sounds pretty easy. So the beer bread, and what we're going to end up doing is making sliders. You guys are also going to have some beer cheese. Going to have a lot of stuff, like I said, your football guests are going to love. So HoneyBaked Ham. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to put the HoneyBaked Ham on the sliders, right?
Right. It's going to be HoneyBaked Ham and Swiss cheese and a magic sauce we're going to make with our hickory honey mustard.
A magic sauce. I see all of these sauces over here from HoneyBaked Ham. I didn't realize you guys sold so many different types of sauces.
We do, and we also have ribs, pork roast that you can also make your own sandwiches for the ball games too. But the sauces, this is our, of course, famous sauce that we put on all of our sandwiches. That's going to go in our slider sauce that of course has a whole stick of butter too. So
not a Christmas has gone by that I can remember when Mom did not have a HoneyBaked Ham on the table. And of course the first thing I go for, that sugar glaze.
It's so good. It is so good.
I want to eat every bit of that. And everybody says, well, where did the sugar glaze, especially when I was little, I would start picking at it. Oh my gosh, if you guys haven't had that, it is so yummy.
And that's the way that you can use your leftovers to make the sliders.
So you have HoneyBaked Ham and also HoneyBaked Turkey, and then you mentioned the pork roast over here. Lots of good stuff. Now you guys are located beside each other, both of your shops in Foley.
Right. We're on Highway 59, about a 1/10 of a mile south of Tanger Outlet Mall, heading towards the beach.
Easy to find. So Marissa, what do we have now? What are we doing?
Just putting parchment down so that the bread doesn't stick all that horribly to the bowl. Okay. And just putting it in a little bowl, just like this. So just a little.
And we don't like doing dishes.
Yeah. This just makes it easier. So when the bread doesn't harden on the bowl, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So it'll pull right out, so you don't have to leave it in the bowl when you're serving it. So you can just pull it out, pull the paper off, and you can set it on a platter, and it'll look really nice.
Makes it easier on everybody.
Yeah. So
good little secret for rustic breads.
Yes.
Of any sort.
Okay, well it sure does smell good. It smells different. You can smell the beer flavor coming out of that. So how long again are we going to bake this?
We're going to bake it for 45 minutes.
Okay.
375 degrees. So.
Okay, so we have this recipe on fox10tv.com. It's on our Studio 10 page. And when we come back, we'll start working on the cheese to go on the sliders.
Back in our Studio 10 kitchen with Marissa and Nancy from the Squash Grape and HoneyBaked Ham. Ladies, good to see you. You're going to town here, Marissa.
Yeah, I'm getting out of here. Look at the cheese just went everywhere. So what we're starting with right now is we're starting on the beer cheese. So this is going to be HoneyBaked Ham style when we get through with it. But basically what I'm doing right now is I'm mixing in 7 ounces of Dubliner cheese, which you can use any cheese, so it doesn't really matter. I have a really large selection of cheeses in my wine shop, so I just kind of choose from there just which one I want to try for the time. So this time we're going with the Dubliner, which is this one right here. So this is an Irish cheese. It's very strong, so it lends a really good flavor to this cheese dip, and it tastes good with the beer that we chose, which is once again the chocolate stout. So
chocolate stout, and you should smell this chocolate stout. Smells fantastic. What do you do with all the leftover beer that you don't put in there?
You drink it.
You drink it. Definitely you drink it. Now what are you doing over there, Nancy?
What we're doing over here is we're going to take our HoneyBaked Ham. We're assembling the sliders.
Okay.
And at HoneyBaked, if you happen not to have leftovers from Christmas that you've tucked away in your freezer, you can buy it by the slice.
Very neat. Handy, ready to go, makes it quick, simple, and easy.
That's right. So we've sliced our dinner rolls. You can use any dinner rolls, but HoneyBaked does make some good ones. We're putting a slice of the HoneyBaked Ham, some Swiss cheese. You can also use cheddar, but that makes it great. And then we're just tucking it back in here.
And you're just going to do some of that, and we're going to show you the topping for that in the next segment. Tell us a little bit about, again, for the folks who missed the first segment, how honey baked ham and the squash grape go together. Why are you both here today?
Well, you know, it started, she has owned Honey Baked Ham for almost 8 years now, is it? So she owns the one in Fairhope and the one in Foley.
Okay.
So she decided she wanted to open a store closer to the Gulf so that people going to the beach, you know, can pick up a ham on their way there. And also for the local communities down there so they don't have to drive as far to go to, say, Pensacola, Mobile, which are corporate stores, and then come to Fairhope as well, which is our local store. So she, you know, got into the, you know, she decided we're going to open one in Foley, and she found the building, she bought it, and it's such a big building, she had all that space in the back. She said, well, what are we going to do? And I graduated from Auburn last May. And
War
so,
Eagle?
War Eagle,
War
thank
Eagle.
you. So she said, well, Marissa, you know, while you're deciding what you want to do, why don't you open a business back there? So me and her decided, let's do a wine shop. Wine and ham go really good together. So that's what we decided to do.
Very cool. So when you walk into the squash grape, what do you guys all offer?
Well, we offer lots of wines, a really big selection of wines. We do craft beers like the ones that we're using today for the beer cheese and the beer bread. We do artisan cheeses and meats, and it's also, it's not just a store, it's a bar as well. So you walk in, you've got the store, and then the other side, you've got the tasting room, which is where we do wine tastings, beer tastings, private parties, and events. So
Marissa has a wine tasting once a week.
yeah, once a week. Every Wednesday we do wine tastings from 6 to 8. They're $5, and then if you decide, hey, I want to take a bottle home, you get $5 off your purchase. So
Very cool. What a great combination, because
Yeah.
you've got some great food over there, you got some great food there, you got wine tasting, you got some of this fantastic beverages and beer to try out. Lots of good stuff going on in your locations on the Eastern Shore. So with the beer cheese, you mix this all together. What happens? Is it pretty much done at that point, or is there another step we need to do?
well, what I've also done, so I've mixed in the Dubliner cheese, about 7 ounces of that. But before I mixed in the Dubliner cheese, when I grated it, I tossed it in about a tablespoon of flour.
Okay.
And so that'll just help like thicken up, you know, the sauce. And then I added 8 ounces of cream cheese, but you could also do goat cheese. You could do any kind of creamy cheese, mascarpone, stuff like that. That will just you know, make it creamy
Sure.
and thick. So I've done that. Once this is all melted, you just season it at that point. So we use Dijon mustard, about 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, and then some sriracha. So
Sounds
Yeah.
really good. All right, so we're going to finish all this up when we come back in our final segment with the ladies from the Squash Grape and Honey Baked Ham. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We've been talking some football this morning on Studio 10. Super Bowl coming up, Senior Bowl. Marissa Wilkins from the Squashed Grape and Nancy Thompson from the Honey Baked Ham are here to give you some ideas what you can make to take to those tailgate parties, to serve at your football parties at home maybe. So this morning, you guys did some beer bread, some beer cheese, and you're going to put it all together and put some honey baked ham on it. Sounds great, doesn't it?
It is good.
Whew. So tell us what you're doing now, Marissa.
right now I'm just making the glaze to go over the sliders. And basically what this is going to do is it's just going to like pull it all together. So it's going to give it like a buttery glaze that's just delicious.
So what do we have in the glaze? What are the
So
ingredients?
what we're doing is we've got a stick of butter in here that we've melted, and then I've added 2 tablespoons of hickory honey mustard, which is our signature sauce at Honey Baked. I've added a tablespoon of Worcestershire, and I've added a teaspoon of Worcestershire and 2 teaspoons of ranch seasoning. So, and then basically what I'm gonna do, and then some chives too. So I'm gonna toss those in there. That'll be the last thing essentially. And then we're just gonna toss it over the top. We're just gonna pour it all over all of this and bake these sliders in the oven at about 350 for 15 minutes, or until the cheese melts essentially. So.
Okay, so you're going to keep working on that, and magic of television.
Yes.
Some are already done. You guys are ahead of the game.
Oh, well, let me show you the ones. Yes, they are so good. Just taken out of the oven.
And they smell so good. And you see that glaze, how it made it nice and shiny and pretty. Guests are going to love that. So then, of course, you put the honey baked ham in the middle. You have the beer cheese in the middle.
No beer cheese.
No
This
beer
one
cheese.
is honey baked ham, Swiss cheese.
Okay.
Our honey mustard, of course, we put that in everything. In between the dinner rolls, and then we pour the glaze over.
Okay.
And of course, if you did nothing but the melted butter and the honey and the hickory honey mustard, it'd be perfect. But
Yeah.
we spice it up a little bit.
Really good snack. All right, well, it smells really good. Definitely, you're going to want to make this at your football party. Take it to the tailgate. You're going to the Senior Bowl. Studio 10 page on fox10tv.com is where you'll find the recipe. Oh, and there's more. Oh, you can really smell the beer coming out of this beer bread.
Yeah, it is. And what we're going to do is we are going to pull out the middle and pour the beer cheese in it. Then we'll use the bits of the beer bread to dip.
Yeah, almost
Use everything.
fondue-esque.
But yeah, another way you can garnish this beer cheese is just diced honey baked ham, and that's how you can make it honey baked ham style. So we've tried it with the ham before, and it's actually really, really good. We add it at the end, but it adds just a little bit of saltiness, a little bit of chunkiness, a little chunky to the cheese, and it's absolutely delicious, especially with the beer bread.
That bread came out just perfect.
It does. And you can make it any flavor you want to just by what kind of beer you put in it.
So the chocolate stout is going to give it a chocolatey, stouty flavor, very big, and that's also from the color. The color comes from the stout, so you'll have a lighter colored bread if you choose, say, a lighter beer. But I do have, at my store, I have a huge selection of craft beers. We have about 40 craft beers available right now. Some you can't get in grocery stores and stuff, so you can come try it out, and it'll be fun.
And the squashed grape and honey baked ham are both off South Mackenzie Street in Foley, so you can go get everything you need for your football party right there, right next door. You guys are making it easy for us.
Yes. And I mean, we decided on that location because it was very, very close. It's obviously right across the street from Tanger's, so you're doing your shopping. It's very easy to run across the street and get a ham just, for holidays and stuff. So
Yeah. Okay, so you're going to put some ham on the side?
Of course.
Okay.
We can't do anything if we don't put a little bit of honey baked ham.
So what you see here is our ham by the slice. So we do sell ham by the slice in our store, and you can get it by the pound or half pound or more if you want. So basically, you can just go to the store if you're just needing some ham and buy it by the slice like that. It's $10.99 a pound, and you just...
And there
you go.
Man, that looks good. So once again, the recipe is on our Studio 10 page on fox10tv.com. I'm ready to taste this.
You're going to have to, but
Okay.
it's so good.
Okay, are there any other finishing touches, or
No,
may
we're
I
done.
taste it now?
We are done.
Get a small piece.
Oh, that's a very tiny piece. I'm not going to even get...
You're going to taste the beer and the bread and in the...
I'm liking this. You're going to like it too. Make sure you get this recipe. Thanks so much, ladies.
Thank you so much.